A glowing UFO hovered over the sea of Marmara for years. Every October along the Mekong River, hundreds of glowing red fireballs shoot straight out of the water, and in the deserts near Marfa, Texas, there are eerie orbs no one can fully explain. Between 2007 and 2009, a night watchman named Yalkin Yalman from Kumburgaz, Turkey, filmed a bunch of strange objects over the Sea of Marmara. He worked late night shifts and often brought his camcorder with him. Well, one night he spotted a glowing object hovering above the water and started to record. And over the next 2 years, he kept seeing the same thing. Metallic-looking shapes that changed color and moved in odd ways. Sometimes they appeared to show small figures inside when zoomed in. The clips got the attention of the Syria's UFO Space Sciences Research Center in Istanbul. The director claimed the footage had been analyzed by experts and found to be authentic. It wasn't tampered with or digitally altered. They called it a turning point for UFO research in Turkey. The story got so big that the country hosted a massive UFO conference in 2009, with speakers like Nick Pope, who'd worked for the UK's Ministry of Defence, investigating UFO reports. The footage has never been fully explained. Even now, the UFO videos are considered some of the clearest and strangest UFO footage ever recorded. What you're looking at here are not fireworks. This is a phenomenon known as the Naga fireballs. Every year around late October, people along the Mekong River in Thailand see these glowing reddish balls shoot straight up out of the water. They call them Naga fireballs, or translated from Thai, fireballs of the giant river serpent. Some are tiny sparks, others are as big as basketballs, and on some nights there are hundreds, even thousands of them, all along a 250-kilometer stretch of river. Before the 80s, locals just called them ghost lights, but they were officially renamed in the mid-80s. People have been seeing them for hundreds of years though, so the lights themselves are way older than the name. They don't just show up on the Mekong either. Smaller rivers, lakes, and ponds in the area have also reported them. It's said the fireballs come from the Naga, a giant serpent living in the river. But scientists have tried to explain them with stuff like natural gas igniting, but they're still not really sure. The Marfa Lights are these weird glowing orbs that show up near Marfa, Texas, mostly along Highway 90, about 9 miles east of town. People report seeing them flicker, change color, split apart, or merge back together. They're usually yellowy orange, but sometimes green, blue, or red. The first recorded sighting was way back in 1883, when a cowhand named Robert Reed Ellison saw this flickering light while driving cattle. He thought it might be an Apache campfire, but when he checked, there was no sign of any fire. Other settlers saw the lights as well, and no one had any idea what they were. The first published account was in 1957, and a local rancher also photographed the lights in the 1976 book Tales of the Big Bend. Researchers like James Bunnell have tracked dozens of sightings between 1945 and 2008. He counted at least 34 notable ones. Some say the lights are stationary, sometimes they move around in an unpredictable pattern. It's all just very strange. Back in February of 2023, the crew of the Navy ship the USS Jackson saw something off the coast of Southern California. Their sensors picked up 4 objects, all shaped like Tic Tacs, flying over the ocean inside a highly restricted military zone known as W291. The footage you're looking at was taken by a sophisticated sensor system and clearly shows one of the objects rising straight out of the water and shooting off into the air. There were no wings, no rotors, no heat trail, basically no explanation as to how it flew. The Navy described this as having what's called transmedium capability, meaning it could move seamlessly between the ocean and the sky without any clear means of propulsion. These craft were also picked up by multiple radar systems, which showed they were solid, physical objects. Eventually, all 4 of them flew off in perfect sync, vanishing almost instantly. To this day, there's no official explanation. The Navy still lists them as unidentified, saying they have no clue where they came from or who or what was operating them. 2 scientists at Appalachian State University caught some video of the legendary Brown Mountain Lights in Burke County, North Carolina. For years, people had been reporting seeing these mysterious flashes over the mountain, but nobody had any solid proof. Dr. Daniel Caton and observatory engineer Lee Hawkins have been chasing this for over a decade. About 3 years before they got the footage, they set up cameras on a rooftop to try and capture the lights. They take a number of 30-second images every night, consistently from dusk until dawn, Hawkins said. Well, out of millions of images, they saw nothing until July 16th of 2016. That night, both cameras recorded a light flashing over the mountain. they had no explanation for it. Even the local tourism director Ed Phillips, who'd seen the lights years before, was impressed, saying, "Yes, finally we have something. They're vindicated. It's given them credibility to what they've seen. We know there's something. What is it? We don't know." In 2020, the US Navy officially released 3 UFO videos that had already been floating around online for years. The clips are known as FLIR, Gimbal, and Go Fast, first leaked between 2017 and 2018 by the New York Times and Tom DeLonge's group to the Stars Academy. But the Navy later admitted they were real, saying the footage shows unexplained aerial phenomena. The first video, FLIR, comes from November of 2004, when Navy pilots from the Nimitz Carrier Strike Group spotted a white Tic Tac shaped craft about 40 feet long, moving erratically over the Pacific, about 100 miles up the coast of San Diego. The other 2, Gimbal and Go Fast, were filmed in January 2015 off the East Coast by fighter jets. When the Pentagon officially posted the videos, spokesperson Sue Goes said the footage was released to clear up any misconceptions about whether it was real. The Navy says the objects are still unidentified. Between late 2007 and early 2008, a small Texas town called Stephenville turned into ground zero for one of the biggest UFO sightings in US history, probably. Over 300 people claimed they saw this massive craft, sometimes described as a mile long and 4 city blocks wide, gliding through the sky. People said it had 7 glowing orange lights and made no sound, with no visible engines. So all these people showed up to see what was going on, turning the town into what investigator Robert Powell called a circus. Powell, a nanotech engineer, teamed up with radar expert Glenn Schultz to dig through FAA radar data, which confirmed something strange really was there. They found something moving around 2,100 miles per hour. It was not any known aircraft. Local reporter Angela Joyner, who first broke this story, became so obsessed with finding the truth that she ended up losing her job over it. Powell said she felt she owed it to the citizens to give them answers. This is footage of a mysterious phenomenon known as the Paulding Light. It shows up in this quiet valley outside Paulding, Michigan. The first sighting goes back to 1966, when a group of teenagers reported this strange light to the local sheriff. And ever since, people have said it appears almost every night. Sometimes bright, sometimes more faint, but it always hovers in the same stretch of valley. No one's ever been able to explain really what it is, but plenty of stories have tried. The most famous one says the valley used to have railroad tracks, and the light is the lantern of a railroad brakeman who died trying to stop an oncoming train from crashing into stalled cars. Others say it's the ghost of a mail carrier who was killed on his route, still trying to finish his delivery. There's also a Native American legend claiming the light comes from a spirit dancing along the power lines that cut through the valley. And there's another urban legend that says it's the ghost of a grandparent searching for their lost grandchild, constantly relighting their lantern, which is why the light seems to fade and reappear. Finally, we have Catatumbo Lightning, or the everlasting storm. So this is really cool. At the mouth of the Catatumbo River in Venezuela, lightning strikes up to 20,000 times a night, setting off right after dusk and going for about 10 hours straight. It's said to be caused by warm winds from the Andes mixing with gases rising from the swampy land below, creating this perfect storm that never really stops. The lightning glows this deep red, orangish color, and on clearer nights you can see it all the way from the Caribbean. The storm pumps tons of ozone into the atmosphere as well, which is part of why it's been recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. But even this storm is not totally consistent. In 2010, it randomly stopped. There was no lightning for 2 whole months. That hadn't happened in over 100 years. With all that said though, I've been your host James, and I'll catch you, yes you specifically, in the next video.